Well, today is the big Japanese sumo fight between the mighty Maruti Ciaz and the new entrant Toyota Yaris. Both these cars come with similar 1500cc engines. Both of them offer you automatic gearboxes as well as manuals, and both come with large cabins as well as roomy and big boots. But which one makes best sense for you? I'll give you the review and the verdict by the end of this video. I'll drive them around, sit in the back seat and tell you all there is to know. Stay tuned for the next 7 or 8 minutes. Now here I'm inside the cabin of the Yaris, and in terms of the comparisons with the Ciaz, this car offers you the same kind of build quality. The plastics are pretty much at par with the Ciaz. The only negative is that the buttons for the AC are very fiddly to operate, and the touchscreen, the infotainment system, isn't at par with the one on the Ciaz, because this one isn't as easy to operate. It feels a little more complicated, and the fonts and the menus aren't really very sharp or dynamic. In terms of the overall seat comfort, I think these seats are as good as the ones on the Ciaz, and utility places are also pretty much the same. But as I just said, if it was for the screen and for these small fiddly buttons here, this one would have been at par. Right now, I think it's just a touch behind the Ciaz. Well, so let me tell you about the Ciaz's cabin. I have to say that the cabin on this car feels a lot more airier and a lot more open than the one on the Yaris. Now, I don't know why that is, but it just feels that way. Maruti has also used nice soft touch materials all across. You get the same kind of combination of black, beige and a little bit of faux wood. But the one department where this car is ahead of the Yaris is in the controls for the AC, which are very well laid out, and also in the infotainment system, which comes with Apple CarPlay as well as Android Auto, and all the menus, sub-menus and the text and everything on the infotainment system is much better than the one on the Yaris. In terms of seat comfort, both cars are neck and neck, and overall in terms of equipment, both these cars are neck and neck. But I think in the front seat department, I would definitely give the Ciaz the advantage. Now let's jump in the back seat and see which one makes more sense. Well, so in terms of the overall cushioning at the back, the Yaris is a nice and comfortable car. The cushioning is definitely better than the Ciaz, and the backrest angle is also pretty good, so you can sit here very well and very comfortably for a long journey. In terms of knee room, there's decent knee room over here. It's not at par with the Ciaz. The Ciaz is ahead, but in isolation, it's a decent place to be. The good point is that the AC vents are here on the roof, not over here, so they can cool your face better, unlike other cars where only your knees get cooled. But the downside is that this little box is protruding on the outside, so if you move around a bit, it can hit your feet. So what is the overall verdict? Well, you can decide what you want, because I've shown you everything that is plus and minus inside the cabin. Well, the Ciaz is a clear winner in the backseat department. You get more knee room for sure. The AC vent is inside, so it's not protruding out like the Yaris is, so you can easily move around, and headroom also is quite good. In fact, the Ciaz's backseat department is its big strength, and it not only beats the Yaris but all other cars in its segment. Well, so here I am driving the Toyota Yaris first, and I have to say that if you are someone who wants a relaxing drive, who wants a very refined drive, then this is a sensible choice. Now, compared to the Ciaz, it has the same kind of engine. It has a 1500cc petrol motor. This one makes about 107 bhp of power, which is again at par with the Ciaz, and it also gets the same kind of gearboxes. It gets a manual as well as an automatic, but the automatic is a CVT in this case, and the good point about the CVT is that you also get paddle shifters behind the steering wheel to give you an engaging drive. Now let me talk about the positive points about this car first, and the big positive on the Yaris is the fact that the ride comfort is much better than it is on the Ciaz. It offers you more supple ride, and it also offers you a more cushiony ride. It just feels like the suspension has been tuned better on this car. It's not that the Ciaz is bad ride, but this one is just a step ahead of the Ciaz. It also feels a little more refined, and when you rev the engine hard, even then the cabin feels better in terms of isolation. Now there's very little wind, tire or engine noise which enters the cabin, so the cabin you can feel it. So in short, what I'm trying to say is that the cabin of this car feels better isolated, and also the ride is a lot more mature and a lot more sophisticated than it is on the Ciaz. Well, that said, now let me tell you a couple of negatives as well. The first big negative is that the manual gearbox on the car isn't as sporty as the one on the Ciaz, and neither is the steering wheel as sharp or as agile as on the Ciaz. Now the steering on this car feels a bit woolly and doesn't have the same kind of crispness associated with some Japanese cars. Also, if you decide to go around corners at slightly faster speeds, there's prominent body roll. So what I'm essentially trying to say again is that if you call yourself a sober, mature person, and also you drive your car in a sober and mature way, then this car will reward you. But if you decide to drive like a hooligan, then this car isn't really for you, because it will not reward you in the least. So overall, it's really choosing between something which offers you a relaxing ride, a relaxing drive, and between choosing something which offers you overall better entertainment and involvement. The Yaris is a great product overall. If I had to score the Yaris against the Ciaz, I'll give it a score of 88 out of 100 in the driver dynamic department. Well, so talking about the positives of the Ciaz first, in terms of the overall driving, it's got the right mix of agility as well as comfort. Yes, the suspension on this car is a good mix of what the Yaris offers as well as what the city has to offer. So if you are someone who calls himself a keen driver on Saturdays and Sundays, you'll like to drive this car. And of course, on the weekend, if you just say I want a comfortable car, then you'll enjoy this car even in the back seat, because it offers you a supple ride, yet it doesn't compromise on the handling department too much. So it's got the right mix between the handling as well as the comfort overall. Now what you'll also like about this car is the airy cabin of the car. When you compare it with the other two cars, it definitely feels very open, very airy, very bright. In terms of responsiveness, the engine is quite okay, and it is at par with the Yaris's engine. Definitely City is ahead because it has an IV tech, but this one also is at par with the Yaris. Now what you'll also like is the fact that Maruti offers you a mild hybrid tech on the petrol engine. So what that does is that it augments the overall fuel efficiency. We have been driving this car for the last few months, and on the onboard trip computer, this car is showing us figures in excess of 13.5 kpl. Yes, it's showing us figures in excess of 13.5 kpl, which makes it pretty good in terms of fuel efficiency and ensures that running costs will be always under control. Now in terms of steering wheel responses, this one is quite okay. For the city, it offers you a very light feel. On the highway also, it is quite okay, and it is decent to operate. It's not the sportiest, neither is it the worst in the business. So it's got the right amount of weight in it. And if I had to describe the performance and the ride and handling and the overall driving dynamics of this car, I'll just say that this has got the right mix of sportiness as well as comfort. Well, so talking about the Ciaz, when you compare with the Yaris, this one definitely feels more agile to drive. Even though it has a longer wheelbase, it feels a lot more agile and a lot more dynamic to drive. The gearbox also is a lot more crisper to operate, and the steering wheel also has better feel and feedback. And the ride comfort on this car is a very good mix between comfortable overall ride as well as sporty handling. So it's not the most sportiest car in its segment, but that said, it's definitely sporty to drive than the Yaris is, and also the comfort levels is at par with the Yaris, not behind it, but at par with the Yaris. So I think in terms of overall score, I'll give this one a very strong score of 89 out of 100. I really enjoyed driving it, and I think it offers you a better mix of agility as well as comfort. What do you think about the score? Let me know in the comment section below. Well, overall, the Yaris is a very well made product and it offers you a very cost-setting ride and also has a very nice experience in the back seat. It also has a very large boot and comes with some thoughtful equipment, which means that it is a rounded package. That said, the Ciaz offers you more space in the back seat. It also feels more engaging to drive and it definitely has the clear advantage in the infotainment system department. And being a Maruti Suzuki means that after sales as well as servicing will be much better than the Toyota brand, and it'll also have a more extensive dealership network. So what I'm essentially trying to say is that the Ciaz has the advantage, and I'll give this one a score of 89 out of 100 while this one gets 88. It's bye for now and hope to see you soon.